In this episode, we flip the truck around, we do some cutting with the plasma cutter, we also figure out what parts we're going to need, and we get in trouble. All this next. Hi, I'm Larry. This is our channel, Miller's Rods and Mods. I'm just your average guy that works on anything and everything, big or small. From custom fabrication to routine maintenance, we pretty much do everything here, all DIY. In the process, my family and I do our best to have a little fun. So follow along and enjoy. Alright, we're just going to give you an overview of what we're doing here. Basically disconnecting everything on the frame, air lines, wiring, all kinds of that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to flip you around here and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing and how I do that. So here you can see I'm making notes on the tape so that I know where each airline goes. If I don't know where they go, I just mark them with like A to A and B to B. You can see that back here. These lines, I mean, they all go to the rear, but you just want to make sure that you mark them so that when we stretch this, I don't forget where they all go. That's pretty much what we're up to right now. Now that we've got all the hoses and wiring figured out and unhooked and out of the way, we're using a plasma cutter to cut this big hunk of steel off the back that they use for basically their hitch. I might reuse this, but probably not. I don't think this is a little overkill. I'm sure eventually we'll find a use for this big piece of steel. Now that we got that big hunk of steel off the back, we can see basically what we got and make it a heck of a lot easier to swap that rear out. everyone. So we're gonna get a few things done today. I'm gonna flip the camera around here and I'll show you what we have going on. We tried the rear the other night, getting it in, and there were a few things that we need to address. I'm gonna show you that here in a second. All right, so the major issue here is this bracket. We're no longer gonna need that, so I'm hoping if I cut right here at the welds, that bracket will come right off, hopefully. Keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully it's not like welded like halfway in there. And then another issue here is this pin here located the rear on the old leaf spring setup, and ours actually has a bracket that goes on here, and it has a piece on this side and then one on this side and a hole in the center actually. And then because we have a pin in the leaf spring rather than the pin on the axle, and so we're gonna have to fabricate and make that whole piece. I can show you more of that outside on the old axle, but those are the main things we want to accomplish. And then we also want to change the yoke on this one to what the old one was, because I think it's actually a stronger unit. So let's get to work. Here you can see more of that bracket that I'm talking about. It has the indent here for the location pin off of the leaf spring, and then it's got these side pieces here. Now this is probably cast and then welded on, but we're gonna make one from scratch out of some scrap steel I have laying around and make our own. And then we want to look under here. You can see the yoke there. We want to take that off as well, and the U-joint. So yeah, we might take the brake boosters off as well, but yeah, we got a lot of work today. We started out by pulling all the rears in, and Kylan got right to work. Look at what this little boy gets into. When I turn away for a second, he climbed that all by himself. As I've been ripping pieces off of these rears that I need before I take them outside and trash them, I found this piece that's on one of the newer rears I forgot about, so it'll match up to this perfectly and can use it instead of fabricating one by myself, or on my own anyway. So that's going to work out perfect. That'll save me a lot of time. Alright, you can see we finally got that piece off. I went into the housing a little bit there. I might have to weld it up a little bit, but we're just going to clean that all up and move on to the next step. Alright, we got this rear all cleaned up. It was like it was never even there, that bracket. So now we're going to clean all this mess up we have in here, and we're going to call it a night. Yep, do a little bit more here.
Why do you have a thing there?
There you go. Good job. Now we just need some right here for the hole.
Uh-oh.
Okay, now that that's all over with, let's made it outside. Here we're doing what we normally do. Spread dike them. Find the center where you want your hole. Punch it with your punch. And start with a start drill, then drill it out. Alright, there you have it. Drilled it out to 5/8 hole, because that's what these pins here are. The only issue on this side is that, let's see here. See down in there, we lined our hole up. You can see how there's gap there. So probably have to trim this a little bit, which is no big deal, for it to sit nice and flat. But first we're going to cut those old pins off, and we're going to take an old bolt. Let me see. I did have one here. Oh, here we go. So this is a grade 8 bolt, and we're just going to simply cut the head off, and then, cut to length, whatever material we need, and we can get a lot more than 2 out of this, but that's what we're going to use. Good quality steel, and it should do what we want, which is basically just locate the rear. That easy. We did some mock-up, as you can see here, to make sure that these pads fit nice and flat, and then we were trying to line up the U-bolts, and that didn't turn out quite as I thought it would, as I'm going to explain here in a minute. Hey everyone, we are weeks later after drilling those center holes. It's taken me a little while, and I'm going to show you why here in a second. Okay, first up, these are the brackets from the other rear. So then actually from this rear, the other suspension. And what we were having trouble with here was the mounting points on the way the old rear, or this rear suspension was set up. It wasn't enough distance between here and here to go around this axle housing. And so what I tried to do was trim this back and get it, pretty close, but it's still bowing the leaf springs out away. If you can see it down there, it's kind of, the axle housing is pushing the leaf spring mounts out. And so I was trying my best not to have to buy new U-bolts, but it really became apparent that we needed to anyway. You can see it. I move this light. You can look at these threads. You can see them all chopped up. Even if you run a chaser on those, it's not going to work out too good. So what we ended up doing, you can see these are square U-bolts, and the old ones were round U-bolts. This is the old top plate and bottom plate. So what we ended up doing was ordering new U-bolts, and they look much nicer, I should say. So we're going to install those here in a second, and hopefully get this on the ground, get it on suspension. They're also for the air brakes. You apply air to them and they push on your brakes. Jack stands. They hold stuff up in the air. That's a big jack for heavy equipment. Alright, as you can see here, we got our U-bolts, new U-bolts in place. Bottom plates on there nice and flat. One of the other issues we're running into is this mount here is for your brake chambers, but they're running and hitting these bolts. Alright, so I got these brake chambers on here, and you can see it's tight. It's real close. I don't know. We might just try and go with it and see what happens. But, I mean, maybe I can space it or do something to get it away from the suspension a little bit. It might not bother it, but I'd rather it not cause any issues. Maybe we can find even smaller ones or something too. It'll help us out with the clearances, but they do fit. They do fit. Just barely. Alright, now that we got this rear bolted up to suspension like we need, the next step is we're going to be unbolting all this, this bracket, and then also the rear airbags and the shock mounts and the leveling system there. What do you have to say? Yeah, lots. Always lots.
She wants to show everyone her festivities.
Yeah, she's ready for Christmas. Hopefully you are too. Alright, so we have have the wheels on. It's sitting down on its own wheels and tires on the back finally. This has turned out to be a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. But that's what happens when you're trying to do things, you know, swap newer parts on older trucks. Just nature of the beast. You trial and error, putting stuff on, taking off, putting it on, taking off. So it takes a lot of time. This month we've been very busy with the family things with Christmas, and I'm sure you all do the same. I apologize, haven't got as many videos out this month. I think the last time I had anything out was Thanksgiving, but hey, I'm only one guy, so I do the best I can. But yeah, we're moving forward, but slower than I'd like. We finally got those U-bolts on. Like I said earlier, we're going to take all these bolts out here on the front bracket, the airbag bracket, the leveling system, and then the shock mounts. And then we'll roll this out. We'll level this frame, and then I think we're going to cut it probably about here at an angle, right in one of the cross members. And then we'll take the frame rails that we have over there and hopefully mock them up, and then we'll push this back and drill all the holes and do all the things we need to do for that. That being said, we still have to mount tires on these rims here, but man, it's looking really good. I'm impressed. I'm exhausted because it's a lot of work, but we're getting there. So I want to thank my wife, all her support, all her help. Even my kids are out here helping me, even little Kylan over there. And I want to thank all of you, the viewers, for continuing to support this channel, watching everything, subscribing, sharing. If you have any questions or you have any suggestions on different things that you see in the video, maybe you're a truck mechanic, whatever, please comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, your ideas. And like I said, appreciate all of you. So until next time.